Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Physics Peers. Today I am going to deliver lecture 4 on differentiation. Lecture 1, 2 and 3 were already completed successfully and they were readily available in YouTube. So today let us talk about differentiation in detail in lecture 4. So in lecture 3 we have seen how to find slope of the tangent drawn to the given curve. So slope of the tangent drawn to the given curve is denoted by dy by dx, where y is a function of x. So as we have seen in our previous video, when we have y equal to x square, we got dy by dx as d by dx of x square, that is equal to 2x. And when we have y equal to x cube, we have dy by dx, that is nothing but d by dx of x power 3, which is found to be 3x square. So based on all these observations, we have concluded that if you have y equal to x power n, then we have dy by dx, that is nothing but d by dx of x power n, which is equal to n into x power n minus 1. So what do we call actually here d by dx of x square as? We call derivative of x square with respect to x. Derivative of x square with respect to x is 2x. Derivative of x cube with respect to x is 3x square. Derivative of x power n with respect to x is n into x power n minus 1. So this is what we have concluded in our previous video. And let me repeat again, the meaning of d by dx of x square or dy by dx is slope of the tangent drawn to the curve y equal to x square. Similarly, if you have y equal to x cube, if you are finding dy by dx when y equal to x cube, the meaning of dy by dx in case of y equal to x cube is slope of the tangent drawn to the curve y equal to x cube. In the same way, we have a curve that is y equal to x power n. When you are finding dy by dx in case of y equal to x power n, that is nothing but d by dx of x power n, which is equal to n into x power n minus 1. That is also slope of the tangent drawn to the curve y equal to x power n. Right? So this is actually what dy by dx means. Right? Now let us take some more examples. Let me take some algebraic expressions or equations. Okay, something like you have y equal to x cube minus 2x square plus 3x plus 4. So in this example, an equation is given like this. You are asked to find dy by dx. So if y equal to x cube minus 2x square plus 3x plus 4, what is dy by dx? You are asked to find. What do you do? See, what you do here is, imagine each term as equal to y equal to x cube, y equal to 2x square, okay, and you have y equal to 3x, and you have y equal to 4. Imagine each term is equal to y, right? So let me explain in detail, okay, then you will be readily writing, okay, very quicker, okay, sorry, very quickly. So as soon as you see the equation, see here, y equal to x cube. So the meaning of dy by dx already you are familiar with it. So here y is this expression, that is x cube minus 2x square plus 3x plus 4. So I write d by dx of x cube minus 2x square plus 3x plus 4. So here each term is to be differentiated. So what do I do? Like do d by dx of x cube. So this constant 2 can be put out. So I can write minus 2 times of d by dx of x square plus d by dx of 3x. Of course 3 can be put out, no problem. So this is d by dx of 4. So what is d by dx of x cube? D by dx of x cube, you are familiar with it, that is 3x square. Minus, you keep these two as it is. You know d by dx of x square, that is 2x plus d by dx of 3x. Y equal to 3x. This is a straight line which is of the form y equal to mx. What is the slope? 3, right? So 3. So or else you can write 3 into d by dx of x. D by dx of x is 1. Okay, plus d by dx of 4. As we have seen in our previous video, d by dx of any constant, or y equal to 4 is a straight line that is parallel to x-axis. There is no change in y. There is no change in y. Y is being constant. When y is being constant, dy or delta y is 0. Then dy by dx will be 0. Okay, so here you can write 0. So then 3x square minus 4x plus 3, because this is 2 into 2x, 4x plus 3. This is what your answer is. This is how you have to find dy by dx when you have y equal to something like this. Okay, so if you have plus signs, you have to proceed with plus. If you have minus signs, you have to proceed with minus. Okay, no other alterations are made. So let me write another algebraic equation, okay, to check your understanding. See, for example, I can write y equal to x power 5 minus 4x cube plus 3x square minus 4x plus 10. The moment I ask dy by dx, what do? You will be writing, so for x power 5, you write 5x power 4 minus, for 4x cube, you write 4 as it is. For x cube, what do you write? Keeping 3 in front of x and reducing the power of x by 1. So 3x square. Plus you have 3, right, as it is. For x square, the differentiation or derivative is 2x, because 2 into x power 2 minus 1. Minus, this is equal to, similar to y equal to 4x. Y equal to 4x, what is the slope? 4. So for 4x you can write 4 simply. 4 into 1. Okay, plus 10 is a constant, so y equal to 10. Y equal to 10 is a straight line parallel to x-axis. There is no change in y, so dy by dx is 0. So for any constant, if y is representing any constant, dy by dx will be 0. Okay, so 0. Thus dy by dx will become 5x power 4 minus, this is 4 into 3, 12x square, plus this is 3 into 2x, 6x, minus 4 plus 0. If 0 is added, there is no change. So that is the reason I am keeping it as 5x power 4 minus 12x square plus 6x minus 4. So this is how you have to proceed to find dy by dx when a particular algebraic equation is given. Okay, now from this what can you conclude? You have y equal to x cube minus 2x square. The moment I ask what is dy by dx, you will be able to tell this is 3x square minus 2 into, for x square you will write 2x, so this is 3x square minus 4x. Clear? So here let me consider this function as f of x, this function as g of x, f of x, g of x. So both are functions in x. So this is considered as f of x, this is considered as g of x. So now our y turns into f of x minus g of x. So when you have minus sign, what are you writing? You are not changing this minus, you are writing the minus as it is in between the two functions, and you are writing the derivative of x cube, that is 3x square, and you are writing the derivative of 2x square, that is 4x. So only you are writing their respective derivatives without changing the sign in between them. So what I am trying to tell is, when you have f of x minus g of x, when y is of this form, if you want to find dy by dx, this is simply f dash x minus g dash x. Sir, what is f dash x actually? What is g dash x? We are new to it. We don't know what is f dash x, what is g dash x. We are not familiar with it. So the meaning of f dash x and g dash x are, f dash x represents derivative of f of x, of course with respect to x, okay, and g dash x represents derivative of g of x. So the meaning of f dash x is d by dx of f of x, and the meaning of g dash x is d by dx of g of x. Okay, so the meaning of f dash x is d by dx of f of x, that is derivative of f of x with respect to x, and the meaning of g of x is the derivative of g of x with respect to x. And what would you do here? If you would have plus sign, you would have proceeded with plus, obviously. Without changing the sign in between them, you are proceeding. So just you are writing the respective derivatives of two functions, and you are proceeding with the sign in between them. If you have plus, you are proceeding with plus. If you have minus, you are proceeding with minus, right? So now what I am trying to conclude here is, you have d by dx of f of x plus or minus g of x. So both I am considering d by dx of f of x plus or minus g of x. So this is f dash x plus or minus g dash x. So this is what I am trying to tell you. For example, you have d by dx of x cube plus 4x square, something like this. So what do you write? You write d by dx of x cube plus d by dx of 4x square. So d by dx of x cube is 3x square plus, because if you have plus, you will proceed with plus. And for 4x square, I write 4 here. For x square, you will be writing 2x. So thus 3x square plus 8x, because 4 into 2x is the required answer. On the other hand, let me give you another example where d by dx of x cube minus x power 5, something like this. You have two functions, let them be f of x and g of x, which are having minus in between them, which are having a symbol, minus symbol in between them. So what do you write here? F dash x is the derivative of x cube. You will write 3x square minus, as you have minus, you are proceeding with minus here, and for x power 5, you will be writing 5x power 4. That's it. This is the required answer. I hope you understood very clearly. So if you have plus sign in between the two functions, you have to proceed with plus. If you have minus sign, you have to proceed with minus, right? Now this is how we find when two functions are separated by plus or minus. If you have plus, you have to proceed with plus. If you have minus, you have to proceed with minus. Then what about if we have two functions which are multiplied, or if you have division of two functions? I mean, you have something like this, f of x into g of x form and f of x by g of x form. So what do you do when you have multiplication between two functions, when you have division between two functions? So you cannot write here, whenever you have multiplication, writing the derivative of f of x and writing the derivative of g of x and multiplying their respective derivatives. That is not the answer. Okay, and even in case of division, you cannot write derivative of f of x in numerator, that is f dash x, and writing derivative of g of x in numerator, then it becomes f dash x by g dash x. That is not the expected answer. So we have to be very careful when you have product of two functions and when you have division of two functions. So this particular thing, so it would be easy to proceed with plus when you have plus. Okay, it is easy to proceed with minus when you have minus. Okay, now let us go for the third case when you have product. And first thing you remember, okay, so we are dealing with very small quantities. Okay, you have to remember this. That is very important thing. And let us go back before going to know how a derivative is to be written for product of two functions. Let me consider this equation. Okay, I mean you have not equation, let me consider this 1 plus x whole square. I have 1 plus x whole square. So this is in the form of a plus b whole square. You will write obviously 1 plus x square plus 2x, and even let me take 1 plus x whole cube. So this is going to be 1 plus a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b, 3a square 1 square b, so 3x plus 3ab square, 3ab square, so 3x square. And in the previous video we have seen, and already I declared that whenever x is very much less than 1, when x is very much less than 1, higher powers such as x square, x cube, these all can be neglected. This is what we have seen. So x square, x cube are not supposed to be neglected in all the cases. Whenever x is very much less than 1, in such case x square and x cube can be neglected, and all higher powers can be neglected, such as x power 4, x power 5. When x is very much smaller than 1, not in all the cases. Now let me consider this case when x is very much less than 1. X square, x cube, all the higher powers of x will become very small. So in such case I can neglect this x square when x is very small, and in this particular 1 plus x whole cube expansion I can neglect this term 3x square, and I can neglect even x cube term, right? So when x is very small, as these higher powers of x can be neglected, now this particular expansion 1 plus x whole square can be approximated to 1 plus 2x, because as x square is neglected, this particular expansion is equal to 1 plus 2x, and 1 plus x whole cube is approximated to 1 plus 3x. So what do you understand? So when x is very much less than 1, 1 plus x whole square is approximated to 1 plus 2x, 1 plus x whole cube is approximated to 1 plus 3x. In general, 1 plus x whole power n also approximated to 1 plus nx. And you have even, if you have 1 plus x whole power minus 2, this can be approximated to 1 minus 2x. So what you have to understand is whenever x is very much less than 1, this power can be put in front of x. This power can be put in front of x. So here this n can be put in front of x. So here minus 2 can be put in front of x. So thus 1 plus x whole power minus 2 turns into 1 minus 2x. And even if you take something like this 1 plus x whole power minus 3, this will be approximated to 1 minus 3x. And if you have 1 plus x whole power minus n, this can be approximated to 1 minus nx. So this is what we have to remember whenever x is very small. Okay, and here why did I introduce this is, we are dealing with small quantities such as dy and dx. So dy represents small change in y, and dx represents small change in x. So these changes are very small. Okay, so be careful when we are dealing with small changes, certain things are to be remembered. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. And one more thing, what I am trying to tell you is, let me go for product of two functions. Okay, so I write d by dx of uv. Sir, what is u, what is v? Say u equal to f of x, v equal to g of x. Don't worry. Okay, so instead of writing f of x and g of x, I am writing u and v, d by dx of u and v. Okay, right. So in case of product, how do you write the derivative of this? That is nothing but product uv. So it was very easy when you are dealing with plus sign in between two functions. It was very easy when you have minus sign in between two functions. And when you have product, how you have to proceed, right? Now, in previous video, like in order to find the derivative of any thing, something like y equal to x square. So what did I do? I write y plus dy here, so which is equal to x plus dx whole square. So now what I do? So y plus dy is x square plus 2x dx plus dx whole square. As dx is very small, dx square can be neglected, so this is neglected, and y is also x square because y is equal to x square, so x square plus dy is x square plus 2x dx. So here x square is cancelled, so we obtained dy equal to 2x dx. From this, dy by dx is 2x. So this is how we have obtained, right? This is how we obtained the derivative of x square with respect to x. Now what I do is, I proceed in the same way here. So d by dx of uv, what we have to do? Let y equal to uv. Let y equal to uv. So when y equal to uv, I write y plus dy. A small quantity is added to y. So obviously this will become u plus du, this will become v plus dv. Right? So when we write y plus dy, we are writing u plus du, v plus dv. So as we have written in case of x square, y plus dy is x plus dx whole square. In case of x cube, we write y plus dy is x plus dx whole cube. In the same way, we are writing y plus dy is u plus du into v plus dv. So remember, du and dv are very small quantities and dy is also very small quantity, right? So now y plus dy is u into v, uv, plus I write u into dv plus I write du into v, so v du. See, please be careful, don't write duv here because this is change. Okay, this change, this d is not your wish, wherever you wish to write. Okay, so du is multiplied to v, here dv is multiplied to u, so u dv, don't write duv. You cannot keep d here. Okay, so if you keep d here, okay, it will become duv, this also becomes dvu. You may be confused, duv plus duv is 2 duv. No. Okay, so that is change, so be careful while dealing with it. So u dv plus v du plus du into dv, right? So y plus dy equal to uv is nothing but y because y is uv, plus u dv plus v du. That's it. Sir, why didn't you write this product du dv here? So I keep on telling you that du and dv are very small quantities. We are dealing with very small quantities. When we are dealing with very small quantities, the product of those two small quantities, what I consider, okay, is very much small, so that it can be neglected. So that is the reason. So the product of these two small quantities is neglected. So I am not writing here, right? So now y is cancelled, right? So now dy is u dv plus v du. So I write dy by dx is equal to u into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. See, this is what you have to write in case of product. So what do you understand? So y is what, Nana? Y is uv. Y is uv. So whenever you have, see, let me write here, d by dx of uv, what I obtained is, what did I obtain? So u into dv by dx plus v into du by dx. Right? So here this is first function, this is second function. So what you are writing? First function into second function derivative plus second function into first function derivative. Okay. So please remember this in this way. Okay. So when I have d by dx of uv, forget about this. Okay. D by dx of uv, you remember that it is uv plus uv plus vu. So why did you write very big? Okay, so when you prolong, see uv, so v indicates the derivative and this u indicates derivative. So it is uv plus vu. Clear? So this is how you have to remember in case of product. I mean, now I can conclude d by dx of f of x into g of x. So how do you write the derivative? F of x into g of x plus g of x into f of x. So this is dash dash derivative. So first function into second function derivative plus second function into first function derivative. So you can check. See, let me write, we can go to some other examples as it is a very basic class. Okay, let me take d by dx of x power 5. Whether is it true or not, let us check with the simple example. So d by dx of x power 5, the moment you see, sir, it is 5x power 4 because we became perfect. So it is 5x power 4. Fine. So same x power 5, what I write is x cube into x square. Sir, why do you write only x cube into x square? Can't you write x power 4 into x power 1? Okay. X power 2 into x power 3, that is up to you. You can write anything. See, what I am trying to tell you is, I am expressing this particular function as the product of two functions here. So even if I use this formula, I should get the same answer, that is 5x power 4. So what does it mean? I am telling uv plus vu. So uv, so first function into second function derivative. First function x cube into second function derivative. Second function derivative is what? What is the derivative of x square? 2x plus u v plus v u v u v. What is v? X square. So x square into whose derivative I should write? So here you disturbed second function, here you should disturb first function. There is no partiality. Each time we are disturbing one function. Okay, so what is the derivative? Whose derivative I must write here? We are writing vu plus uv plus vu. So u means its derivative. So x cube derivative is 3x square. Are you clear? So now this is what, Nana? 2x power. So x cube into x power 1, x power 4 plus 3 x square into x square, x power 4. So 2x power 4 plus 3x power 4. So this is 5x power 4, which is same as this 5x power 4. So whenever you have product, sir, if that would be the case, why should we use this? So directly we are able to write d by dx of x power 5, 5x power 4. Why to write again d by dx of x cube into x square? Why did you express the function as the product of two functions still when we get the same answer? Okay, in days to come you may have something like this, d by dx of x into sin x. For example, I am taking d by dx of x into sin x. When I take d by dx of x into sin x, I must know the derivative of x. You know, derivative of x is nothing but slope of a line which is y equal to x. So what is the slope of y equal to x? 1. So d by dx of x is 1, right? Because it is known to you. So here x into sin x. So this is one function, this is one function. So you know the derivative of first function, but you are yet to know the derivative of second function, that is sin x. So after knowing the derivative of sin x, you are able to write the derivative of the product of those two functions. Okay, some way, like somehow you may have, somewhere you can have d by dx of x square into e power x. So this is exponential function, this is algebraic function. So here the function is given as a product of two functions, one is algebraic, one is exponential. So in such cases this particular formula is useful, right? Now let me go with division. Okay, so let me go with division. So here let me take y equal to u by v. So where u is f of x, v is g of x. So what do I write now? Y plus dy, you will be writing u plus du by v plus dv. Fine. So y plus dy equal to, can I write like this, u plus du into v plus dv whole power minus 1. Obviously I can write. So here what I do is y plus dy equal to u plus du into, let me take v out, v if I take out, this expression can be written as 1 plus dv by v whole power minus 1. So here also you'll have minus 1 because v is out. Right? So the next step what I write is y plus dy is, this v power minus 1 is 1 by v. So let me write like this, u plus du by v, and this is 1 plus du by v whole power minus 1. Just now we have seen 1 plus x whole power minus 1. When x is very much smaller than 1, it can be approximated to 1 minus x. This minus 1 will be coming here, right? So in the same way, so this dv is very small quantity. So when you divide this small quantity with v, v is very bigger when it is compared to dv. So dv by v, a small quantity is divided with very large quantity becomes small, right? So here in place of x you have dv by v, that's it. So I write 1 minus dv by v, 1 minus dv by v, clear? So I do here y plus dy equal to u plus du into, I write LCM v into 1 v minus dv by, here you have v, here you have v. So these two v's will be multiplied, so you'll get v square, right? So y plus dy will be uv plus, what do you write? uv plus, sorry, uv minus udv plus vdu minus du dv by v square. I hope you are clear with this step. So just uv, u into v, uv, u into minus dv minus u dv plus du into v, v du, du into dv. So with plus minus minus. So this is small quantity, so we can neglect. So I write y plus dy is equal to uv plus vdu minus udv by v square. So just I am writing this vdu here, this minus udv here. So next step what I write is y plus dy is uv by v square plus vdu minus udv by v square. So just I am writing this denominator to uv as well as to this entire term separately. So here I can cancel 1v. So this will be u by v. You have u by v, but y is u by v, right? So here I write u by v. So this u by v, this u by v will cancel, right? So what you have finally? Finally you have dy equal to v du minus u dv by v square. But I want dy by dx, so dy by dx is v du by dx minus u dv by dx by v square. So this is what you have to proceed in case of division of two functions. Okay, so how do you remember this? Okay, so you have d by dx of u by v. See this v you write as it is, this function square you write here. Then what do you remember is the same v you place here, v u. So v u du by dx minus v u minus u v. So u dv by dx. Right? So here you have d by dx of f of x by g of x. So what you are writing here, g of x whole square. This you are taking and in denominator you are writing its square, and the same g of x you are keeping here, g of x. So g of x you are writing, you are not disturbing g of x, you are disturbing f of x. So f dash x, its derivative, minus, as you disturbed f of x here, you must not disturb f of x here. So whom should you disturb? G of x. So you should write f of x into g dash x. That's it. Okay, so this is what you have to understand when you have division of two functions, right? So let me see one example. Let us see one example. Basic example I'll be giving you. So d by dx of x power 10 by x power 3 if you have. So what do you do, sir? We write d by dx of x power 10 minus 3 because it is in the form of a power m by a power n. So a power m minus n. So it is d by dx of x power 7, sir, for which you will write 7x power 6 as a derivative. Fine. And the same x power 7 I am expressing as a division of two functions. F of x is x power 10, g of x is x cube. So if you use this method even, you should find the same answer. So x power 10 by x cube. So I am giving basic example. So here what I write? So I must write its square in denominator. So it will become x power 6. So x cube whole square will become x power 6. And what do I write? The same function here I write x cube. And whose derivative I should write? Its derivative. So for x power 10, 10 x power 9 minus, then I already disturbed x power 10. So I should disturb this next time. So x power 10 as it is I will write. I must disturb x cube now. So 3x square. So what do you get here? 10 x power 3 into x power 9 x power 12 minus 3 into, this is 10 into x power 10 x power 2. So this is also x power 12 by x power 6. So what do you get? 10x power 12 minus 3x power 12, 7x power 12 by x power 6. So here you have x power 12, here you have x power 6. So it is a power m by a power n. So you will get 7x power 12 minus 6, that is 6, which is same as 7x power 6. This 7x power 6. Right? So this is how you have to do differentiation in case of division of two functions. So we have seen when two functions have a plus sign in between them, how it is to be differentiated. When you have minus sign, how it is to be differentiated. When you have product of two functions, how it is to be differentiated. When you have division of two functions, how it is to be differentiated. This is what we have seen. Okay, and let me explain one more important concept. So that will be helpful in understanding the derivative of trigonometric functions. See, I have a circle. Now this is radius, this is also radius. So this is point A, this is point B. And we know that AB is arc, right? So let theta be the angle here, right? Now we call this OAB as sector, where O is the center of the circle. See, now you can take something like this. I consider A here, D here, this is R, this is R, here this is some theta dash. So this arc, if you see, obviously the length of this arc will be more. So if length of the arc is increasing, the angle subtended at the center is also increasing. See, this is, see the angle here, see the angle here. Okay. So what can I write is L, if L is the length of the arc, L is directly proportional to theta. More is the angle at the center, okay, more is the length of the arc. So this keeps on changing, this keeps on changing, okay, according to the arc you consider. but obviously the radius is fixed. So L equal to, when we remove proportionality, we introduce a constant, that constant is R. So this is how length of the arc and radius and the angle subtended by the arc at the center are related. So this is the relation. Okay, right. So please remember L equal to R theta. Okay, so now what I do is, let me consider a very small arc, something like this. L, R, R. So if you clearly see, if we make AB very small, I mean we are taking very small part of the circle, so it appears to be straight, because we are dealing with very small value. Okay, so it appears to be straight. When it is up, when it is appearing to be straight, so imagine this is a right angle triangle. Of course, strictly speaking, it is not. Okay, because sir, if this is hypotenuse, okay, so how hypotenuse and the other side will be equal? Okay, so we are dealing with small quantities. So here you see sine theta, you write sine theta is opposite side to theta by hypotenuse, so L by R, L by R. But what is L? R theta. So sine theta is, okay, R theta by R, because this L is R theta, just now we have seen. So this R will be cancelled. So sine theta is approximated to theta. When theta is very small, because when this is becoming small, this angle also becomes small. Okay, so please remember this result. When theta is very small, sine theta is approximated to theta. You can understand something like this. If you take theta is 0, sine 0 is 0. Okay, even you can take 30 degrees, no problem. Okay, you can take 30 degrees. Sir, how 30 degrees is equal to 1 by 2? Let me tell you. So sine 30 is 1 by 2, but if you consider this in radians, sine pi by 6 radians is 1 by 2. So pi is what? 180 degrees. Pi radians is 180. 180 by 6 is 30. So I consider this is 22 by 7. 22 by 7 by 6. So 22 by 42. Okay, radians equal to 1 by 2. So sine 11 by 21 is 11 by 21 radians is 0.5, because 1 by 2 is 0.5. What is 11 by 21? Let us see. 21, 11. Okay, so 0.21 5s are 105. So you have 5 is a reminder, 0. 21 2s are 42. So this is also you are getting 0.52, something like this, 0.5. So sine theta is theta. So very close. Okay, so when theta is very small, sine theta is approximated to theta. Please remember this. When theta is very small, sine theta is approximated to theta. Okay, now even you can tell sine 0 is 0. When theta is very small, what do you tell about? When theta is very small, okay, cos theta is what? Approximated to what? We know that cos theta is under root of 1 minus sine square theta. So when theta is very small, sine 0 is 0. Okay, theta is very small. Okay, now let me explain this way. Okay, so let us consider the same circle. Okay, so here we are taking, so this is AB, so this is theta, this is R, this is R, this is L. Cos theta is what? cos theta is adjacent side to theta. Okay, let me make it clear. I have this circle. So we are considering this as straight. So AB, so this is theta. So theta is very small. So this is R, this is R. So adjacent to theta you have R, and hypotenuse also you have R. So cos theta is adjacent side to theta by hypotenuse. So R by R approximately. So these two, how can they be equal? These two are equal actually, but this is contradiction to our regular triangle. So cos theta is R by R, that is 1. So cos theta is approximated to 1. So indirectly theta is very small means it is approaching 0. So cos 0 is 1. So when theta is very small, cos theta is 1, sin theta is theta. Like what do you tell about tan theta here? So tan theta, let me write. So can you tell how do you write tan theta? Tan theta is opposite side by adjacent side. So L by R. L by R. So tan theta is what, Nana? You have L equal to R theta. So R theta by R. So R is cancelled. So tan theta is approximated to theta. I hope you are clear with this. When theta is very small, sin theta is approximated to theta. When theta is very small, cos theta is approximated to 1. When theta is very small, tan theta is approximated to theta. Let me put all these results at one place. If theta is very small, sin theta can be approximated to theta, cos theta can be approximated to 1, tan theta can be approximated to theta. And not only theta here, like if you have something like if x is very small, sin x is approximated to x. If x is very small, cos x is approximated to 1. If x is very small, tan x is approximated to x. So please remember these results. These results will be useful in finding derivatives of trigonometric functions that are to be done in the next video. Thank you. Thank you one and all.